I miss it sometimes, the track, the horses, the people, the characters. My boyhood dream was to win the Grand National. Unfortunately, I only had one ride in it and got to the 12th. They say life all comes down to a few moments. That was one of them. And yeah, that changed my life, put me on a course to becoming a jockey, becoming a jump jockey. And I was 10 years old. I'd never rode a horse before, but I said to myself that right there and then, I'm going to do that. And 20 years later, to the day, I achieved it. I guess looking back, it was a pretty successful career, really. Nearly 300 winners on the flat, including the Geelong Cup, which was one of the main lead-up races to the Melbourne Cup. Injuries were pretty hard. I had my fair share of them, and now I'm paying the price. Physically and every day at the gym, trying to get my body right. Probably the worst one was in one. Georgie's son threw me for the wing at Sandown, May 11th, and nearly killed me. Obviously smashed my leg, broke my arm, punctured my lung, nearly drowned in my own blood on the way to the hospital, and I was told I'd never ride again. And I said, yeah, you watch me. I was only young and full of ego, and I was back within 6 months and had a great, and the 2 years after that, I broke all the records. So in my way of thinking, I was 10 foot tall and bulletproof. Nothing could stop me. And that was just me. I was always, fought back from bad experiences. I was a darling of the media. I was very opinionated, and they liked that. Sports World, Today Show, all of them lapped it up, TV, and my ego was running rampant.
Jamie, please welcome to the show. Jamie, congratulations. Great ride yesterday and great win, and it's a great race, the Hiskins, isn't it?
It's a fantastic race, Bruce. You know, it is the Cox Plate of jumping, and it was great to win it for a second time.
The injuries wasn't my biggest hurdle. It was the tragic suicide of my older brother, Stephen. He was diagnosed with nephritis, which is a kidney disease. I done the test, and I was compatible, and we were set to go for the transplant. He was my big brother. Taught me everything. Taught me how to kick a football. Protected me when we were young. He was my older brother. He was the world to me. So that's why when he needed a kidney, I was more than happy to give him a kidney. And if it meant me stop being a jockey, so be it. I'd rode winners in 7 countries. Had the world at my feet. Had a beautiful house in Hampton. Had sports cars. Had girlfriends. I had plenty of money. Stephen needed a kidney, and I was to give him a kidney. I was going to donate my kidney to him. That meant I had to retire from racing. We had a disagreement. He got drunk. He said, I need to talk to you now. I said, listen, wait till I've got to get this sorted out first. We left on bad terms. He drank, and then when I came back, I opened up the garage door and he hung himself. So yeah, that was the beginning of the end for me. Yeah, I cut him down, called an ambulance. They got him breathing again. Words can't describe what I felt. It was it's like my whole world had ended. Every injury I've had in racing, you put them together, doesn't even come close to the pain I felt. Then came the second life-changing decision I would make. This was about a week or 10 days after I turned off the life support. He said, hey, try this will ease the pain. It was heroin, and because I was drunk, I said, yeah, just give it to me. Tried it, and the rest is history. Become a junkie. I become something I despised all my life, because as a jockey, I never drank, drug or smoked. It was beautiful. I mean that sounds really bad because of the destruction it does, but it numbed everything. Any guilty feeling I had, any bad feeling I had, any self-doubt, self-hatred I had towards myself, was just simply washed away by heroin. And that's what heroin does, it just washes away everything. I couldn't deal with the guilt I had over my brother, because I think to myself, if only I had stayed there and spoke to him, if only I hadn't left the house, maybe he still would be here. The way I look at it is that what's done's done, and if he was looking down at me knowing what I had done to myself, he'd be rolling in his grave. I mean, he gave his life up for me to keep riding, and then I go and fuck my life up by using drugs. You choose the behaviour, you choose the consequences, and my consequences was to lose everything. I was addicted for 6 months, but it felt like a lifetime. Detoxing was hell. It was like I met the devil. Shaking, shivering, pissing yourself, shitting yourself, spewing, screaming, waking up screaming. It's a nightmare. It's the worst experience in my life. Then finally, after I got off the heroin and got an naltrexone implant, I got hurt at Moonee Valley in 2005, broke my back, had a 6-hour operation, but instead of picking up smack, I drank, and being an addict, the alcohol took me right back to the gates of hell. Walking into a restaurant, blind drunk, sitting down, ordering 12 double vodkas and fucking prawns and steak, and then when the bill comes, collapsing. That happened. That's called property by deception.
What is your full name and address?
Jamie Keith Evans, homeless at the moment. Seen a really bad thing happen in jail. Seen a guy get stabbed over a carton of milk in jail. There was blood on the walls, there was blood everywhere. I don't know if he died or not, but he'd been stabbed 37 times over a carton of milk. So anyone that says to you prison's like hotels, have never been to prison. Prison is hell, and that's where my drugging took me. I won't go back there, I'll die. If I use again, I'll die, and it's as simple as that. And I never, ever want to go back there again. As a top jockey I was in the 90s, I had a lot of connections. Yeah, I did know Tony quite well, and Carl, and you do mix with some, extremely interesting characters. He was good to me. All he done was give me money and throw women at me and anything I wanted. So to me, he was good. He'd say, "Here, Jamie, take him to the brothel and hand you $5 grand or something." So what are you gonna do, not take it? Of course you're gonna take it. And that's how the night, and you'd think to yourself, what a great bloke this bloke is. Yeah, sure, they were backing a lot of my horses and winning a lot of money. But it's not real. Ending up in police lockups and jails was my life. Fate brought me and a bloke named Brian Cox together. He's my counsellor and my saviour. Brian picked me up from, I was dead, and he transformed me from what I was to what I am now. But so I owe him my life, really. He said to me last time I got out of jail, he goes, and these are the words he said, listen, he said, you've got two choices. You either live or you die. He said, you keep doing what you're doing, you will fucking die, guaranteed. You do what I tell you to do, and you're a chance of living.
Jamie.
Coxie.
How are you, mate? What's up? Geez, you're looking well.
I'm going great, mate.
Good on you, mate. Good to see you. Okay.
Everything's great.
Oh, that's the story. Career's over as a rider.
Yeah, I know.
Keep your respect as one of the top riders, which you were, but listen to what I say and work on what I say.
Okay.
Because your whole life's finished, it's gone. Now that the alcohol and the drugs are out of your system, you're getting a clear mind, and when you've got a clear mind, you start addressing all your other problems and issues.
Yep.
With alcohol, it's a cunning, baffling, powerful disease. It's the only disease that tells you haven't got a disease. It's a disease of the mind. I knew that he was going to be a bucket of trouble, I knew that for a start. So anyway, I gave him a chance. I brought him into one of our houses, told him what it required. I actually was part of his bail, to bail him out of the prison. For the brain damage and caused by alcohol and drugs and his well-being, he wasn't in a good shape at all. And I knew that I'm going to have to watch this guy closely. Sure. I want to see you live. I am sick and tired of seeing fucking people die. Mate, what is our problem?
The first drink.
And you thought that you could have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Now, is that fucking insanity or is it not?
Of course it's insanity.
He's a grouse bloke. He's a lovable bloke. He's a likeable rogue, If he drinks and drugs again, I'll say his life's fucked. He's got a lot to offer. He's been there and done it. What others are going to do? They say you've got to give it away to keep it. That's a really traditional AA saying. You have to give it away to keep it. In other words, if you can help another recovering addict, so if I can help someone by just telling them my story and telling them that there is hope, well, that's a good thing. Now I am presenting to the new generation of apprentices, jockeys,
sharing my story in the hope that I can save a career and maybe a life.
And when you go to jail, you're not a person, you're a number. I was inmate 164610, right? And when I say prison, I don't mean 4 hours locked up in, Flemington lockup for a DUI or a drunken disorderly. I'm talking about maximum security jail. I'm talking about muster 5 times a day. I'm talking about assaults. I'm talking about sexual assaults. I'm talking about standovers. I'm talking about eating your dinner at 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm talking about lockdown at 4:30. In 16 hours, you've got committed to a 3.5 by 2.5 metre cell with another adult male, with a small TV to break the silence, and by God, you better get along with your soulmate.
Just really made you more aware and alert of the things that are out there that you can be exposed to, because it's a real stereotypical image of drugs that you see. But when you see Jamie, a real high-profile sort of person, it makes you aware of how easily you can be led into that sort of world. It's easy to say, oh, don't get involved in drugs, they'll have a negative impact on you. But the only people that can really tell you that are the people that it has had a negative effect on. Now speaking to Jamie, it's quite evident that anyone can be affected by it.
So if life does come down to a few decisions, I just say think very carefully, because if you pull the wrong rein, you're in a lot of trouble.
If it gets hold of him, like it got hold of me, you'll go to the gates of hell. Because I've just been there and I never want to go back. Institutions, jails, death. I've done all of them except dying, but I come that close to dying.